When you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You should have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication.
Okay. Terrence Howard says Diddy wanted his manhood. You guys believe him, or do you think they're just trying to lie on Diddy?
It's 100% true. He wouldn't have got
believe it.
I believe it too. Yeah, I believe it.
Let's do one mic. Go ahead, Ty.
I think that it's just, first of all, it's 100% true. I believe everything that they saying about it. But what I will say, it's just sad how many times men don't have the wherewithal to like stand up for a man who don't stand for nothing to fall for anything. And so to watch him exert himself and say like, I didn't go for that. It's just sad because so many men don't have that story. So many men don't have the story to say, I didn't let this happen to me. And then they got the money and they still end up in the same position, sad, miserable, and regretful. So it's unfortunate.
I think he's talking from firsthand experience. Somebody done already got the Terrence Howard, man.
You think he's talking from first experience?
I think he knows.
What?
I hope not.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying no one has, and nor Diddy. But it sounds like he's been wanting to tell the story about Diddy for quite some time.
Everybody keep right on that with it. So too, I think that he got the opportunity now to tell the story because of the allegations that have arose. So,
but he's not the first one to admit something like this. Like he's tried 50 Cent, he's tried The Game, he's tried. He ain't the only one. So that's why I believe him. Other men have come out about Diddy. So. Or,
he know because he got tried. That's how he know.
Yeah, he says he got tried. He's very transparent about the fact that he got tried. And I think that if he's able to recall the event with such conviction to say that it didn't happen, I think a lot of people aren't able to do that. They're not able to come online. Like you've never seen Justin Bieber come and say anything because he can't. It's not like he doesn't want to. I'm sure he probably wants to lie. He wants to sit in front of the camera and say, this didn't happen to me, but he can't. Everybody can read a lie. So
yeah, I think it was just telling his body language.
I think he came off self-assured to me.
I don't think Terrence Howard has been the kind of man that has let someone do that, though, because honestly, I haven't seen him in any of the roles that he said he would never play as far as the homosexual roles and stuff like that. And he still gets decent roles. But at the same time, too, I guess he probably wouldn't get those $20 million contracts like some of the other actors get when they go into certain roles or whatever. So, I mean, if that's a standard to kind of like measure it by, I can believe him that he hasn't let anybody do that. And I like what he's played for the most part in a lot of his different movies and stuff.
I'm still a little confused. What made y'all think that he actually got some action? Why would he come on national TV saying that?
I don't think he got any action. Now, I don't believe that part, but I do believe he probably got tested.
He got tested by Diddy, but he got action. It's crazy.
Terrence Howard not no ugly man. So, I mean, if Diddy testing some of them, I mean, I don't see why he would try to pass on Terrence. And then that was the whole MO, trying to have somebody come over and, hey, let's work together on this or show me how to do this. And, yeah, like you said.
They said Diddy had Carl Winslow, so I don't think he was concerned about the looks and all that. It might have been like a power thing for him. You feel me?
I don't know.
Anybody else thought he got tested?
I believe that there is a probability, but I also think, okay, so like Cat Williams said it first, like even before the interview, right? I forget what comedy show that was, but that's when he was wearing the big buckles and stuff, and he was like on Comic View. And I remember him making a comment about like these Hollywood parties and whatnot. So when something like that happens of that magnitude, I fall short. I'm not one to 100% believe them, because sometimes it's for different reasons. It's for like an attention reason, a money reason, to promote something. So like with me, I don't really believe it, but who am I to say? I'm not there.
I hope he wouldn't use that for clout. No, that's not a clout chasing tactic right there. I don't feel personally. Not one to use as a man anyway, or a woman at that.
I think that everybody missed the whole conversation, and I don't know if y'all only seen that clip or if y'all watched it extended, but he spoke about the femininity of men in general, but it wasn't something that he volunteered. It was because Patrick Bet-David actually asked him the question about whether or not he had seen certain things or if he had got invited. And so he added extra context. I don't believe that Terrence Howard got tried at all. He just said that this is what he's saying, and then his manager informed him of what he thought, and so he removed himself from the conversation or the environment in general. What Terrence Howard was speaking about was the feminization of men, and he went on to explain about how black men wearing dresses. He went on to explain how people would do stuff on camera and then justify it by saying that I'm acting, or, you know what I'm saying, this is just a part of my job and I'm doing it for a check. So he had a broader conversation about the feminization and what is being pushed in our society. I think that that's where the conversation probably should go. I don't really give a fuck about whether or not somebody got tried. It doesn't matter if a guy tried you or not. What matters is whether or not you give in and you give up your ass. That's what really matters. And the biggest part about the conversation really is about whether or not we are being feminized and what would you do for money? Because I don't believe, you know what I think? I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the toughest guys, the ones that are the quickest to say that somebody got tried, is usually the ones that would do something for a check or to do something for some clout. Whenever you usually see people that immediately jump at something and don't look at the full context, those are the people that I usually look at cricket the most. It's not the people that just be like, man, listen, the fuck out of here. I ain't really talking about that. It's usually the people that are really like scary or they quick to accuse somebody else. What I found is usually that's a defense mechanism for a lot of guys that probably have been tried or probably have been touched when they was younger. To be honest with you, real talk.
Okay.
Because
Well,
like just blanket throw that on a nigga for no reason. That don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying?
He said he got tried though.
He didn't say that.
He said that
he was
that
around.
he reached out to him about acting lessons. He came to his house.
He did not say he got tried.
Like he a woman.
He said that Puff asked
like
him.
he just didn't go for it.
He didn't say that he got tried. He never said that he got approached. He never said that Puff said anything about that whatsoever. He said his manager said, I think this is what's going on. And then he said, oh, is that what's happening? All right, well, then I'm just going to cut off contact altogether. That's not what he said. But see, this is the problem. This is another problem in our community is that we play a game of telephone and we translate it to mean something different than what he actually said.
Well, the reason why I don't
implied, and so if that's what we're talking about, then that should have been the question posed in the beginning, and it wasn't initially. So as far as the feminization of men in Hollywood, I mean, I think that's something that we can all agree that we've seen across the board for quite some time now.
Well, later on in the interview, he talks about, you know, what Anton was saying. Like when you watch the extended clip, he talks about how you can tell when a man's man card, is how he put it, is taken. Like you can't really recover from that. You know, once that's been done to you, it's hard for men that have been touched or that have been violated in that manner. They can't get that back once it's done, and it does do its damage. So yes,
I agree. I didn't see that part though.
Yeah, he went on to say that guys that even if you like do it acting or even, once he said that you got one time to be a man, and the time that you actually give up, your manhood in that way, it's hard for people to get that back. It's hard for people to come back from it. It's hard for you because you're gonna be fighting that demon as far as that spirit that's being on you. And that was the deeper part of it. It's more like it's the thing that we surround ourselves with, it's the people that we interact with, it's the stuff that we, you know what I'm saying? It's in real life, not even on camera. He was just like, yo, the people in Hollywood have opened themselves up to an environment and to a culture to where they really can't come back from. And that's why you see a lot of them struggling, even after they get the money, even after they get the resources, they're never unhappy and they never whole because the money wasn't enough to justify what it is that they got to deal with for the rest of their life. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, I speak on that a lot. I think that we applaud, or not we, but society applauds like sexual liberation, especially for women. And I think that the totem pole just keeps moving further and further and further down the line. And then when somebody speaks on it and says like, okay, this is getting a little too far. Like, for instance, I used to do, fitness content, and then you can't do fitness content because everything's about sex. Everything's about sex. And so you would just watch the over sexualization of our society just get worse and worse and worse as the generations go on. And it's not just women though, it's men. And I think he did a good job of iterating that.
Do you think that most people, when that's in the industry, have encountered that type of thing? Most men?
Not the industry. I think that, they got this article, the big conversation that's happening on a lot of social media platforms is the men being removed from college. And I seen what's his name? Gosh, it'll come to me in a second. I seen a stream where he was talking about how on most college campuses, the reason that men in a lot of ways are choosing to not go to even HBCUs, and they are still getting degrees at a higher clip than they used to, but they're no longer going to HBCUs, is because it's gay. The gay agenda is being pushed on college campuses, feminization of men. Women are controlling college campuses. And he was saying that somebody in the chat, Jason Whitlock, shout out to the people that's in the chat. Jason Whitlock was speaking about it, and he was saying that his friend had a son that went on campus, and every single person that took him on a tour or whatever, all of them was gay. And I think that what has happened in society is that we have now pushed this agenda. Women, a lot of times, every single person that they get with is a best friend, is gay. Down in Atlanta, all through the 2000s, well, maybe 2010s through 2020, you know what I'm saying? It was a gay culture. Now, a lot of the same people that was pushing it in Atlanta is now pushing it in Houston. And I just think that it's for fuck the industry. You can go right up to the restaurant and they're gonna be doing this fucking line dance. Every person that I see leading this fucking fan with these line dances is some sassy motherfucker that got on some cowboy boots. You can't go nowhere, and I mean nowhere, without it being pushed into your face so that you can normalize it and say, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. That's just a normal part of our culture and society. And it's pushed more in the Black community than it's pushed in any other community.
And also on the youth. It's pushed on the youth a lot more. And it's sad.
If you're talking about the industry specifically, I think there's a threshold that you get to where it's like you can get to a certain level, but to pass that certain level, you're gonna have to compromise some if that's what you want. I think that's a real thing. You feel me? And I do music, and I know people that do music, and that's a real thing. You start to get into invited to different type of parties. You feel me? So I think that's real.
Did anybody went to HBCU and they encountered that? I didn't go to HBCU.
What was that?
Did anybody go to HBCU and encountered that? What Anton said regarding it's the LGBT is pushed on.
I went to an HBCU, but no.
I wouldn't say I got a lot of partners like who went, so just being in college, you visit different colleges and stuff. So I wouldn't say that it's so to say push mode, but it's certain stuff that's allowed that I don't know why. Like for instance, what's the girls that do that got the sticks and they dance in the band? That's usually women.
Majorettes.
Majorettes are usually going to be majorettes at the PWIs, at the big football games and all that. It's rare you're going to see a male do that. At a lot of HBCUs, you're going to see like 10 males right next to the majorettes doing the same thing.
Point.
So it's just certain stuff that's allowed that I don't get why, but it ain't false. It's definitely true.
They had a widely accepted.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm sorry if I cut anybody off. They had a little boy. He must have been maybe 9 or 10. It was on Instagram, and you know how they have the young little dance groups and they wear the sparkly sequins and stuff. The little dance doll girls, and they had one boy that was in it. And of course, it was a bunch of women in the background saying, "Go get it, get it, get it." But by him being under 10, I'm pretty sure. I know for sure, and especially with the way everything's going now in the world, that it's gonna get more and more used to that, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna get more popular for sure.
It just gets, it definitely gets more popular. Like the guy who, I don't know if y'all seen the guy who went to prom with his dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one that's like
Even that, huh?
The one that was like dressed like Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Willy Wonka.
Yeah. It just becomes more and more, I guess, pushed on you, but then you have to, a lot of people feel like they have the pressure to conform. They can't speak out against what they don't believe in. Our freedom, I feel like freedom gets minimized, and not even because it's enforced, just because of the pressure of society to not say anything, but to allow your children to be, I don't know. I think that dad was just, he's lost within himself. The son was doomed from the start.
It's given he trying to get in where he fit in type situation.
It's the same thing with Dwayne Wade. It's the same thing. It's just like so many formats just pressed. It's a construct and a construct of the same thing, like men living vicariously through their kids. Because I feel like that's what that is. I feel like it's something.
What they're doing, what we're seeing is they're putting images in the celebrity form and in the athlete form to have these ideas widely accepted, and definitely to the youth being accepted. So it's like, it's not even an option now as a parent. Do you allow your child, or do you accept this? Is that this is programming, and it starts from the things at the very top, like we're talking about Terrence Howard saying that there's the feminization, and he doesn't want to be a part of that agenda in Hollywood. Therefore, I guess you could say that he's not one of those actors who wants that to be something that is seen on the child level or anything like that, to be impressionable, because it's definitely something that if a child sees or a teenager sees their favorite actor or celebrity doing something, they just feel like, okay, well, that's cool for me to do it too. And then what Anton was talking about as far as back in Atlanta, I remember when they was doing the Real Housewives of Atlanta in the very beginning, and all of them did have a gay hairdresser girlfriend, and that seemed like it was in the early 2000s or mid 2000s maybe. And so from there it just blew up all over the scene. And then of course we had a political agenda with Obama getting office and all that kind of stuff, but so it's definitely an agenda. And I think that Terrence Howard, just trying to make sure, I don't ever think it was a question, but maybe he just felt the need to go out there and let people know that, hey, he's not a part of that and he don't agree with it.
That's a great thing. It's a great thing to be able to say, I'm not a part of that. I don't agree with it. That's why I'm so happy to live in a generation where we have Donald Trump to come and say, make America great again. It makes me feel so secure with my children going to school. When he puts the Holy Bible on national TV, it just really makes me feel like there's hope at last, because I'm terrified for my kids to go to school. Well, I was terrified for my kids to go to school. Like, he just released something that said that you can now have Bible study at school or something along those lines. And it's just like realigning us to our roots and our morals of what it meant to be in a balanced society, because we're so confused. Like, the climate is just so confused right now. So thank God for him.